Hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? I hope all is well and you're well on your way. I am Barry Ball, the podcast host of the Leadership Library. This is the number one leadership podcast for millennials, where we're going to be interviewing some folks, some powerful folks who are shaking and moving things up and really getting after it. And we're going to be interviewing them in order to help you get insight on what it takes to be successful in their industry. So here today we have Tiffany D. Tucker. Hello, hello. Would you please introduce yourself to the folks?
Hello, Barry. Before I jump in, I've got to say, man, I'm so excited to be here. I feel like this is going to be a good conversation. I know you're anticipating interviewing me, but this is going to be a conversation. If we're talking about leadership and how we move and how we're going to be successful. I commend you for doing this. I commend you for building this podcast and creating this platform. I know so many people around the country talk about leadership and authenticity and what that stuff really means. But having you define this space as someone who's a practitioner, I'm grateful to be here, and I want to say thank you. And I'm super excited. Your listeners are going to be, of course, shocked. This is a woman working in a male-dominated industry, but I hope I can add value. I hope I can give you whatever you need. I lead by transparency. I lead by my successes, as well as my failures. In the short introduction, yes, I am Tiffany D. Tucker. I am currently the Senior Associate Athletics Director and Senior Woman Administrator at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Beautiful beaches, but understand that we play ball and we have great education here as well. Also branching out and looking forward to launching my own business, Tiffany Transforms, here shortly. And I'm super excited to work as a practitioner in the leadership space. I've been a speaker for about 10 years, and to really put a bow on it is where Tiffany Transforms lies. Just a short story. I am a former student athlete. I played women's basketball at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I got my master's degree at Hampton University. So I've been in the majority, predominantly white institution space, and I also got my master's at a historically Black college, and I'm super proud of both of those institutions. I was a coach after I graduated. I coached for about 10 years and had great success there on the Division I, II, and III levels before I transitioned into athletic administration. I'm going to say, no, not academics, but athletic administration. And, I've had an opportunity to, before I got here, I was at South Carolina State as a deputy athletics director. And prior to that, I was at Hampton University in various director roles. And literally, in the matter of 3 years, I stepped into this role, and it's been amazing to kind of define where I am. So we have a director of athletics, and pretty much Jimmy manages the entire department, but I sit to the right hand of him, and we work hand in hand. I'm so blessed to have a supervisor, a leader who I can work with, who gives me the leverage to do anything I pretty much want to do within our department. We have a level of trust, we have a level of understanding, and we have great communication. And I've been able to do some great things in the spaces of diversity, equity, and inclusion, women's rights, and also, just creating a more holistic environment for our student athletes. It's one thing to be a student on a campus. It's one thing to be an athlete, but when you can bring and merge just the organic student experience into that space for them, it means a whole lot. I think back on my own experience as a student athlete and some of the opportunities I missed because I was either playing, I was practicing, I was traveling, I was, watching film, whatever it was, but I was missing, opportunities, whether it was joining Greek life, being a part of different groups on campus. Some of those things I missed. And I do believe here that we can merge those things together to create a holistic experience for our student athletes. And we've been able to do that. I have a great staff. I have a great team. We can agree to disagree. We can put things on the wall and throw darts at them, and we can figure out how to do it for our students. And that's what means the most. So that's kind of me. And as you say, it's me in a nutshell. I love all things leadership. I love getting better. I'm a life learner. If you got a good book, definitely recommend it. I'm probably going to throw some out there as just, ones whether I'm reading or favorites or things I always go back to and try to reread. But like I said, that's pretty much me. Being in a place of forever learning, forever growing. You're always trying to, whether it's people call it reinventing themselves or whatever name you want to call it. I just call it getting better. There's a new me every day. God gives us brand new mercies. I'm going to give you a brand new me, a brand new renewed spirit every day.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Okay, so with that, you've been about everything and all things leadership. How do you define leadership?
Man, do we define it though? Can you put leadership in a box? I can't put it in a box because I believe one thing I firmly believe, and I hate to cut you off. I believe you can lead from every seat in the room. I truly believe that because I was given an opportunity, whether it was the lowest person in the room, and I'm talking about leadership in the standpoint of hierarchy in place. And I truly believe you can lead from any place in the room, but the purest form of leadership as I define it right now in the space, in the job that I work in the career that I work in, is getting people and having people believe that they can do things that they couldn't even imagine were possible for them. And I know that's a lot because sometimes we want to put things, I want to do this by X age, or I want to be this person by 40. I want to be this person by 45. I want to have this by X day. And that sounds great. And it's awesome to plan. But what about the stuff you just can't even imagine for yourself? What about the opportunities that the doors that will open that you have no clue and you're going to realize, oh my God, how did that happen? Just believing, if I can get people to believe in the things that they just can't even see. And I know, the book calls it faith. And if I can have you step out on it, if I can have you blindly just walk into it, I talk about unleashing unapologetic confidence, walking into it with your shoulders back, your head up, and going bold, being unapologetic, taking nothing less than what you deserve. That's true leadership. Like I said, it's not in a box for me. It's steadily growing. What I may say today, it may change tomorrow, or I may read another book, and my definition of leadership is going to grow. And that's what it should do. It shouldn't be defined the same thing every day, every way, because I'm constantly listening to different podcasts. I'm constantly reading books. I'm constantly meeting different people in leadership or people who aspire to leadership. I was just talking to an intern today. This is a young man who's literally just getting started in this business. And one of the first questions he asked me was, what can I do? What steps do I need to take to be in the place where you are? Mind you, when I was him, the steps look different. So I can't tell him, I can only tell him my experience, but the finish line has moved a little bit. Things have changed. Opportunities grow for him every day. Instead of you starting in this lower role and moving up, or him saying, oh, I'm just an intern, I don't have a voice. Yes, you do. Here's my cell phone number. When you see things that need to be brought to my attention, reach out to me. Come by my office. Let's have a conversation. If you need me, regardless of whether you're an intern or the person that he reports to, which is our associate AD for facilities and facilities management. So, it grows every day because now I'm looking at leadership through this young man's eyes. And now, I feel like today I planted a seed for him to say, you know what, you don't need to go through all these little steps. You can jump, you can move. At some point, you may realize this business isn't what you want to do. You may want to go out and start your own business. Things may change, but understanding the essence of what leadership is for me is believing the things you just can't see and jumping out and unleashing and being confident, being unapologetic about who you are, understanding who you are and that alignment. And of course, the purpose, the passion, the core values, the mission, the goals, creating that strategic plan around your life. That's true leadership.
Wow, that's so powerful. And in your explanation there, I just hear the coach. Like
I use my coach voice on you, Barry. Sorry, I get passionate about this stuff, yes. Man. I get so worked up because when you're a person that I'm from the inner city, I'm from Petersburg, Virginia, and having an opportunity to, play ball and be great at something that was my vehicle. I feel like I'm still riding that little ball and I'm going to ride that joker until I can't anymore. But using basketball as my vehicle to create an opportunity for myself and my family to do something great. It truly, I've got to believe there's more. Because I remember when I didn't think going to college was an option. And then remember when, I don't know how old you are, but I remember when A Different World first came on TV and they were talking about Hillman. And I was a big Cosby Show, watcher and watching Denise and everybody aspired to Hillman and this great place. And their grandfather would talk about Hillman men and Hillman. And I'm like, whatever Hillman is, sign me up, and I'm just like, before you knew it, my eyes are open to college. And what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my family? And I've always been a person about being organized. So I'm like, what are the steps? What are the deadlines I need to do to get here? And, being gifted, I'm 6'5", I'm unapologetically tall. I love it. If I could be taller, I would be. But 6'5" is what I have to manage right now. But I got a 7-foot wingspan, so I'm cool with that. But
now,
so being blessed to be tall and statuesque, and having the talents and the gifts to create an opportunity for myself and for my family. Like I said, that's what leadership was birthed in a place for me of, when God gave me the opportunity to see, like, there's some stuff out here that you have no clue about. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show it to you. I just need you to follow me. And that's where the alignment, that's where the leadership, that's where the blind faith, that's where the taking the chains off, the unleash, that's where it comes from.
Okay. So, all right. So I love it. If you can just break that down for us, Jay, your journey, in rising to the top, what was your journey to the top like? And what were some lessons learned along the way?
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the lie now. It was just like this.
Oh boy.
It just skyrocketed all the way up with no bumps. Let me tell you something. That thing looked
all over.
Yeah, it's all over the place. But from a industry and position standpoint, when I started off in coaching, I started off at a Division III institution in Meadville, Pennsylvania. It's literally the farthest northwest part of Pennsylvania that you can get without going into Ohio and Cleveland. And it was a humbling experience because I literally just spent the last 4 years at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the mecca of basketball. You know, everybody knows Michael Jordan. Everybody knows Charlotte Smith, you know, especially the North Carolinians, you know, everybody know. And of course, everybody around the world knows who Michael Jordan is. So it was a humbling experience, but it taught me, like when you said, break it down, I went immediately to that place because I had just been way up here and it was like, well, no, I'm gonna need you to bring that thing all the way down. But what that opportunity taught me was how to teach the game of basketball, how to teach people how to be captains, how to teach how to teach my head coach how to have leadership characteristics that was able to translate to each of the 15, 18 women we had on the team, as opposed to it being one size fit all. Yeah. But I had just come from that place. So it was familiar, but it broke it down to like an elementary level. And when you said that, I immediately went there in that space because there was an opportunity for me to really break things down, really understand them clearly. We did not have the resources of a North Carolina. I mean, we're talking about Division III institution, very small, most, you know, very affluent student athletes that came there. I mean, one of my athletes now is a neurosurgeon. Wow. It was a Ivy League kind of feeder program for students who wanted to work in those realms. But it was overwhelming for a while. And then just moving up the ranks in coaching, having an opportunity to run my own program, which was the first time I had ever coached at a historically Black college. You know, getting there and learning a harsh reality about running your own program and what that looks like, in hiring assistant coaches and being able to recruit my own athletes without having to consult with somebody else. Like, hey, I think this kid is good, but what do you think? I was the final answer. So, you know, having the wherewithal to say, you know what, what kind of assistant coach do I want on my program? Do I want someone that's always going to say yes when I ask, do you want to do this? Yeah, if you want to do it. I realized the whole yes man concept. I didn't want someone that was, you know, every time I said, you know, this is it, there wasn't any pushback. I wanted someone to have a conversation with. I wanted someone to grow with, and having an opportunity to hire and not do that well. And it costed me a lot to even be to make that poor decision. But I learned so much from it, because I reflect on that. Why I bring that situation up is because I reflect on that situation when I do hiring now. And I can say publicly that I think I've made some of the best hires of my life because of that situation. You know, I've been able to, I'm a little bit more cautious. I take the steps. I don't rush through the process. I trust in my gut. I use my instincts. I ask the right questions. You know, I do my homework. A lot of the things that I was not doing when I became a first-time boss, and I had never been trained or to do those things, or I didn't know how to do them, or I didn't pay attention well when I was going through the learning process. So, you know, that's one of the things like I learned out of that process. And then realizing when I had caught the bug of going into administration and having to wrestle with myself, where I loved coaching. I loved it. I like student athlete growth is what I absolutely love, because I'm that person. I'm always going to be a student athlete. I'm a ball player like that, you know, I'm a ball player, and I can't take that out of me. I'm always going to be competitive. There's always going to be some growth. Like my boss said, now we always keep score. You know, it's always something. We always keep score. I don't care what it is. We keep score. So, but I take that into my own life. Like, I just want them to grow. And when I transitioned into administration, I did not think it was going to be possible for me to have the impact that I now have. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't see it. One of those, a blind faith. I didn't see the impact. And then I realized, getting some mentors, surrounding myself with people who were already doing the job, professional development and growth. And now I'm in a space where, I went back to school. I got the experience I needed. I networked with the right people. I created, as I call them, my professional board of directors, my people that I can go to when I'm ready to make a professional move, who can pour into me. Those things that I learned over that time has created the person that I am now and the professional that I am now. And I'm now in a place where I can reach back, because I think that's so important, and lift people up. I have to do it. I have to do it. And I'm so grateful to be in a position to do that. It warms my heart when you can reach back and be like, no, I got you. Do the work. Be great where you are. I got you. And that means so much to me. So much.
Wow. Okay. So I'm loving that. And you're showing us through your life the tips, tactics, and techniques of how to be great. And I love that. What I would like to ask is, what do you, at the stage where you are now, what do you expect of new folks coming into your industry, or maybe folks, at the entry level, or folks who are changing careers and come into your industry? What do you expect of them before they get there and when they get there?
Let me tell you, two main things. I can teach you to do any job. Okay. But two things that I can't teach: how to be hungry and how to be flexible. You have to be hungry. There are going to be days, there are going to be 12, 16, 18-hour, 24-hour days in this business. Okay. I cannot teach you how to have that same hunger after you've been up for 24 hours. Being flexible. Yes, you may have been hired for this job, but what happens, especially now we're in COVID, what happens when a fellow colleague has to quarantine or has to isolate due to a positive test, and I need someone to step in? This may not be the role that you signed up for, but I may need to put you in that space right now to fill a void because a colleague is down. I think I love this book, Extreme Ownership, but it's about, Army and military life. And I think about it being in the battle. I'm not going to leave a fellow soldier out there on the field, or if someone perishes, I'm just going to leave that space vacant. I'm going to do whatever I can to fill that space, to fill that void, because we've got so many other people that we need to go help. You've got to be flexible. Sadly enough, you have to be intentional, and you got to be motivated. Because it's so much we deal with on a day-to-day basis. We're not just dealing with human beings that are perfect, that are the highest level of athlete. Even if they were the highest level of athlete, they're dealing with real situations. We have students who come in, whether it's two-parent home, single-parent home, high socioeconomic status, low socioeconomic status, have been maybe sexually abused, may have been homeless. You never know what these students have been through when they arrive on your campus. You may know some of the surface level stuff, but we're in that 18 to 23-year-old range when they're trying to figure themselves out, when they're trying to explore different stuff. And they're unpacking some of those past hurts, those past pains, those current hurts, those current pains. And we've got to manage that on top of So having someone that wants to come into this business, they've got to be willing to put it all on. You don't get, it's like a 3-piece suit. You don't get to just wear the jacket and not the pants and the vest and the cummerbund and the suspenders and the shoes and the top hat. You have to put on the entire outfit. You've got to do it. You've got to be willing to do it all. You've got to be willing to make the sacrifices in order for the mission of the university and the mission of the department. We've got goals. We've got core values that we're going to uphold. You have to be a person that is literally hell-bent on making us the premier program within our conference and the NCAA. And if you don't have those things, and then lastly, I'll just say, if you come into this business and you find an institution that you like and you've not done a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, I promise you, I use it every day. It's something I probably rattle off in my brain every day, because there's always situations where I'm having to make decisions, and that's always replaying in my head. You have to do that as well. Understanding what are the trends in our business. What's on the horizon? What's been giving us pain points? Okay, in the last 2 years, name, image, and likeness and diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts have been huge. Where can you fill in those gaps? Where can you solve a problem? Where can you add value? You have to be willing to know and do those things in order to be useful within a department. If you can't fix a problem, then I don't need you. Your position doesn't need to be created. I think I'm listening to kind of Gary V in my ear. If you know Gary V, God Almighty. If you can't, and he doesn't even say this, but I feel like I'm being him right now. If you can't fix a problem, then I don't need you. And it's like, I hate to be that harsh, because he's so harsh. But he's so right.
Yeah.
He's so right. Like, he creates a multi-million-dollar business with that same energy. I work in a $1 trillion industry, and I have to have that same energy too. If I don't fix a problem, my boss doesn't need me. Even as I launch out into entrepreneurship in that space, the people that I bring into my team, if you can't fix a problem, I don't need you.
Yeah.
So you have to be flexible. You got to be intentional, got to be motivated, stay hungry. Don't get complacent. Don't think, oh, it's time to chill. I got the job, but it's time to chill. You will get fired. You will not have that job, because you no longer fix a problem. You fixed the problem. Now you got complacent. Now you're ready. You crying about a raise and a pat on the back when we got more work to do. If you're great, the raises will come, the promotions will come, but that's going to happen with leadership and growth as well.
So so you just ran my mind, and I want to take it back for a second. And please excuse me if I'm missing a point. If you can just tell us, how do you specifically define your industry and what you do? And then after you do that, can you tell us, so you said great, and I always ask this question: what separates the good from the great? Now that I'm there, now that I'm hungry, now that I have the character, what's going to really differentiate me from the next person? Because when we get to certain levels, aren't we all hungry and motivated and willing to block and tackle, or be flexible, as you say? So what separates the good from the great?
Let me help you. What separates you from the good to great? Because good gets you in the door. Innovation and creativity.
Ooh. Okay.
Innovation and creativity gets you to great, because your brain, I promise, your brain never turns off, because you're always trying to get to the next and the next and the next. And you check it, and you checking everybody else. Okay. All right. You're doing that. I'm doing that. They're doing that. Okay. We're going to do this. Let's go to the next, because you're hungry to be better. You're hungry for greatness. That's what gets you to great. creativity and innovation. And how those things happen when you work in a place where you're not afraid to fail. Because when you're asking people to be creative and be innovative, sometimes there's going to be failure. And you have to allow them to, you got to allow them to fail a little bit, because you're going to get 10 times more out of them. Because now they understand, because we're talking about good people. They're motivated, they're hungry, they've done the SWOT analysis, they know the trends, they know where the pain points are, they've got solutions to fix them. It just didn't work that time. That's the good person. Now you've got to couple that with the innovation and the stepping out, the faith, the willing to try, the willing to unleash, the willingness to go with confidence, the willingness to stand before, as I do, the board of directors, the board of trustees, and say that I can make this happen. And this is how I'm going to do it. And if I fail, it's not because of a lack of try, or I didn't have a plan, or I didn't have the proper this in place. It just did not work. But I'm creative enough where I've already created another way to, like I said, check what everybody else is doing, figure it out, how it's going to work for us, and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. That's what takes people from good to great. It's never settling, whether you fail or even in success. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we did the National Girls, Women in Sports Day Leadership Summit. First time we did it at UNCW. It was absolutely great. But now my wheels are turning. How can I do it better? Now, you know, I'm here. Who can we have? How can we do this? What if we were still virtual? How do we do it again? Okay. And what if we do this? You know, who can I bring in? Who can I do this? How do we do that? How do we make it interactive? What can I do? That's the great part. That's what separates you from just getting in the door. You've got to be willing and on in that creative and innovative space. And defining our industry. How do you define athletics and entertainment? It's, I had to define this in the wake of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. The world stopped because we had a global pandemic going on. So you got people quarantined in their homes. You have a man who is murdered before our eyes, countless Ahmaud Arbery, doing what the government told us to do. Let's go take a walk, take a jog, come on back in the house, be safe. Breonna Taylor, doing what we all love to do. Sleep, rest, relax. And the world is stopped. There's no sports. There's no entertainment. And when you don't have those two things that typically naturally brings us together, because athletics is a melting pot. You go to a concert, I don't care who's playing, you're going to see a melting pot of people. When you took away what essentially people call the distraction, now we've all got to focus in on this one thing that's happened and give it some light. You know, athletics isn't a distraction. It's a space where I feel like truly people, regardless of what you look like, where you come from, socioeconomic background, national origin, your sexual orientation, it does not matter. Because when that ball goes up, and I'm using the reference basketball because that's what we do. Yeah. When that ball goes up, I don't care where you're from. I don't care if your sexual orientation. I don't care what color your skin is. We are going to play, and I'm going to win because we keep scoring.
I do.
It's a place, competitive spirit. I know that was a long way to get here, but I just can't go without saying, when you don't have something, it brings to light what it really is for you. And for a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men who look like us, it's been a vehicle out of some very terrible places. It's given us an opportunity to be able to display our talents. I feel like athletic and sport for us is continuing to grow. We got Lolo Jones, who's one of the fastest women in the world, doing bobsledding. Like she's got two medals in two separate sports in the Winter and Summer Olympics. Like, sport for us is continuing to grow, and there's no cap on it. We're only going to continue to get greater. We're only going to continue to create more opportunity. I have beach volleyball here at UNC Wilmington, and this is the first time I've ever been able to be around beach volleyball. Now it's like one of my favorite sports to watch. Like, it's so competitive. But when you're open, and this is me 30 plus, watching something new for the first time and learning and growing and adding value to myself as I add value to them. So it's steadily growing. There's space for everyone. Like I said, I feel like I can teach anybody to do a job, but like those good qualities and those great qualities, you've got to come with them.
Ooh, I mean, you're breaking it down today. I mean, so I know somebody's going to listen to this. I hope you're taking notes right now. I hope you are. Because if you're not, running back, get your pen and paper and start taking notes.
Not running back. No, I like I said, I just think it's so important. And, having this conversation is really, caused me to just really look at the nuances of my own life, my own way of leading, my own way of using the word following. Like I said, I hope I've been able to add some value. I hope I've been able to, give somebody some direction. I can use my experiences and experiences I've created for others to help them grow. But like I said, you got to have those good qualities. And I don't care what business, what industry, even if you work for yourself, we all can come with the good qualities. But to move from good to great, you gotta have some real emphasis on innovation and creativity.
Wow. So just when it comes to direction, and as we start to wrap things up, and I'm so sad to say that because we've been hanging out.
No,
it's been a party.
I'm loving this conversation.
It's been a party. It's been a party. So, we know we definitely have a part two most likely. So yeah, we can throw that out there.
Part two.
We're gonna have a round two. We're gonna get another part two. But something I ask everyone this, and we talk about direction. What would you say is your purpose, and how did you begin to step into that?
Just want to take the air out of the whole thing, don't you? Let me tell you something. Purpose, man. I got to start this by saying I'm so grateful for my parents, my step-parents, and my grandparents.
Wow. Yeah.
When I saw a t-shirt that says, "I am my ancestors' wildest dreams."
Yeah.
And I truly believe that. And how I believe it is not a gut feeling, it's not a notion, it's not a inkling, or they told me, you can do anything. And I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm a free Black woman who's got the world, the entire world. I'm talking about grandparents who were raised in the South during the Civil Rights Movement that understand what picking cotton and tobacco looks like and feels like. I remember my grandmother talking about the pricks in her hands from picking cotton. This real stories that I'm hearing firsthand, not something I read in a book, not something someone told me.
Yeah.
I truly believe I am it, and I do not take it lightly. My purpose is to literally, and I'm trying to do this without getting emotional, because God is the center of everything. God is the center of everything in my life. And I just want to simply please him. I want to walk in faith. I want to live. I want to be someone, and I'm going to be, I'm going to be. I'm working on language. Hanging there with me, Barry. Working on language. I'm going to be someone that people can look at and say, I want that for myself. I want that joy. I want that peace. I want that drive. I want that leadership. I want that blind faith like Tiffany had. You know, whenever it's time for them to close the lid and lower me down, I want someone to say, I want him to say, job well done. Yeah. I want the people that come to celebrate my life to say, job well done.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that by consistently giving back, consistently lifting as I continue to climb, consistently pouring into others, making sure I hold myself accountable. You know, even with launching the business, I should have did that 2 years ago. But it's literally taking God to really push me off the cliff and say, you got to do it now. Meanwhile, I could have did it at a good pace had I did it 2 years ago. Now I'm like rushed into it. But that's my purpose. And I'm going to continue to walk in it. I want others to see the God in me. I want people to understand the relationship that I have with him. And I literally want to exalt people and bring them up so that they know him, and they know where their help comes from, where faith will lead them. And like I said, not to sound, I'm nobody's preacher. I'm far from it. I don't know all the scriptures and the holy quotes and all that good stuff, but all I know is what he's done for me and what he continues to do for me, my family, and others. And that's simple. Like my purpose isn't, this 50-page dissertation. It's literally my relationship with him and what I'm here to do. I was called to do this work in athletics. Never in a million years. Even when I was a player, I didn't realize what people in my role did. I just knew we was out there playing, and things went. The lights turned on. Stuff happened. The bus showed up. The flights were booked. I never knew who did that stuff. The budget was done. I didn't know about a budget. So I didn't even have a thought about the job that I even work in right now. Which, it is what it is.
That's life. That's life, yeah.
That's life. It's so life. Like, I didn't even know. But now that I do, I just want to create more opportunities for women in sport. I want to create more opportunities, for Black women to have, an opportunity to sit in the seat that I sit in, and those in the seats that I aspire to sit in. Like I said, I want to be someone who can just give back in any way possible to the sport, to the business, to the industry. Athletics for me is an enterprise. There's so many freaking parts. It's so many parts. So, like I said, that's my purpose. I know another long-winded story, but it truly is. I'm a philosophy major. philosopher by education, as they say. So
Yeah.
you will never you can't put me in a box. I don't belong there. I'm too tall, my legs too long, and my arms too long. You cannot put me in a box. So it's always going to be this type of answer to those questions that, you know, a lot of people ask. You know, you've got thought leaders like the Brene Browns and, you know, I love Carla Harris. I can't get out of here without dropping Carla Harris. Carla is amazing. But you have these awesome thought leaders in the space of leadership, vulnerability, daring leadership, emotional intelligence. You already know.
Yeah.
You already know about that box. So, you know, you've got so many people out here doing the work in various realms, and whatever they models people believe in is totally fine. But there's got to be a space for innovation and creativity in my world, because that's just the way my brain thinks. I'm always thinking about how can we do it better. This looks good. This is great. This is good. But how can we get to great? So, like I said, my purpose is to, one, be aligned with him and do the work he's called me to do. And right now it's working in athletic administration, pouring into these student athletes, building whole student athletes, whole people, whole citizens. You know, bringing awareness to social justice and issues, and helping people who don't look like me be able to talk to us and have a conversation without fighting and yelling, and to get to a common goal. That's my purpose right now. You know, in 6 months after COVID is gone, that piece is going to change. You know, because we're not managing COVID, so things are going to change. We're still going to be working in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. I'm still going to be building whole student athletes. I'm still going to be managing the most awesome staff in the country. I put mine up against anybody. Trust me, we keep score, and we're going to win. So, you know, like I said, before you close me out, Barry, you are amazing. Keep doing this work. Keep doing this work. Trust and believe. Do not get frustrated with it. Do this work, because there's going to be some people that you have in this space that are going to touch. They're going to touch one, and if they touch one, that one can touch another. And trust and believe. I know you have some. You're gonna have some good people on this thing, and be prepared. Be prepared to take off. Be prepared to take off.
Yeah, this episode is gonna do it.
Yeah. And when that thing take off, just hold your hands up like you're on a roller coaster. Whee! just hold your hands up like you're on a roller coaster. But seriously, thank you so much for having me. This has been good. I felt like I talked so much, and you just. But now it's been good. Thank you so much.
Now, so we are, you know, winding down, but we couldn't get out of here without hearing a little bit more about Tiffany Transforms. Like, could we hear a little bit about that? What to be expecting? How can we support? I mean, yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Well, we're in the infancy stages. You know, we're right now. Business plan is built. Parts of the team are coming in. We're still got a few pieces that we're bringing in the marketing and strategy space, and have an amazing graphic designer. Love her creativity. It's crazy. Awesome business manager and CPA, and like I said, we're in the emphasis stages. You can follow us on Instagram at Tiffany Transforms. That's a great place to start. A lot of the launch will happen there in that space. We're going to be doing, of course, some live stuff, but essentially what it is, it's going to be a place where we talk about unapologetic, unleashing confidence, being who you are, stepping into who you are called to be. I lead through transparency. There's no phase of my life that I won't share with others to help them ascend to greater. I truly believe that's part of the purpose. That's part of the alignment. That's part of the emotional intelligence piece of self-awareness. I am very aware of who I am and whose I am, and I can give that part of myself to people. Like I said, I've been a speaker for about 10 years. I've done, God Almighty, from as little as 1 to 2 people to thousands of people. So it's now time to bundle that part of my life up and create some real value around it. Possibly launching a course in the next year. Super excited about that. Just had a strategy session and outlining some things last week, and that was great. But yeah, of course, still speaking. I speak in the athletics realm. I've done small businesses. Definitely done a little corporate stuff. I would love to get back in there because I feel like that reception was really good, because I do come from an athletic space, and everybody, regardless of whether they dribble the ball or not, they love the athleticism piece with the creating strategic plans around how do I create a more collaborative, more inclusive environment? How do I get more out of my employees? So, like I said, we're going to continue to move in that realm. But right now, we're just building the foundation, doing it right, faith-led. And we're going to launch in the next few weeks here, and super excited about it. But thanks so much.
Oh my, no, I thank you. I thank you. And the last thing before we get out of here is, when what you've said and what you've shared resonates with someone, how can they reach out to you? You share that Instagram account, but is there any way else, or is that the best way to reach out to you? But
you can definitely at Tiffany Transforms LLC on Instagram, or you can email me at tiffanytransformsllc@gmail.com. Of course, that will eventually change once the site is launched, but that'll stay open forever. That site will the email will stay open forever. So feel free to reach out via email or send me a DM on Instagram. Those are the two most efficient ways of getting in contact with me or somebody from my team. So, like I said, I'm whatever you need, wherever I can help, wherever I can add value, please reach out.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Well, all right, folks, this has been another episode on the Leadership Library. We're here just to meet folks who are really doing amazing things, some powerful people, and to give entry-level folks, specifically millennials, expectation and manage your expectations and know what's going to be expected of you when you get to whatever industry you have your eyes on. So thank you for being a part, and much love.